Alright, what is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to get into it. So we're going to talk college football playoff. Of course, as you can see, Notre Dame fan, very disappointed in what we are seeing here today. Again, I believe head-to-head should matter very much. I believe the head-to-head should really matter. But there's only a couple things that I can think of on why the group of five automatic bid needs to go. Toss that shit out. It's got to go. I made a video yesterday that's up on the channel. Go ahead, check that out, along with all the other videos. Again, I love college football. It's my favorite time of year. I love college ball. I got to watch my Notre Dame Fighting Irish run the table and make it all the way to the national title against the Ohio State University, right? It was a Cinderella season for sure. With that being said, I've been a huge supporter of the Indiana Hoosiers. When I was in high school, I actually was lucky enough to get a preferred walk-on offer before I ripped up my knee, and so IU will always have a special place in my heart. Now that this bracket is out, I don't see anybody stopping the Indiana Hoosiers. Alabama does not scare me like they used to. Oklahoma is too inconsistent. Alabama has no run game. Oklahoma's quarterback is inconsistent. Wait till one of those teams plays the Indiana Hoosiers defense. I'm sorry, you had one of the most prolific offenses in the nation with Ohio State get held to 10 points. You don't think IU can hold Oklahoma and Alabama to that as well? And as you guys see over here, like we got IU, we got Oklahoma, Alabama right here. This is last year, yeah, Oregon getting the 1 seed absolutely sucked because then you played Ohio State in round 2. So there's a lot that can go wrong with that 1 seed. This year, I think it actually works out in Indiana's favor. I also think Texas Tech is a little bit better than what people give them credit for, but I'm letting you know right now, I think Oregon's going to be too much for Texas Tech. Then we get the rematch. Or actually, before we get into all that, let's go ahead and just talk through this real quick. The number 1 team in the nation is the Indiana Hoosiers. I know last night they showed it. They're the best team in the nation. They're the only undefeated team in this college football playoff, which again, I've made videos on it. I've made countless videos on it. I'm genuinely shocked by this because when I was offered a preferred walk-on in high school, this is when IU was bad, historically bad. They've been historically bad for years. So I'm going to take a dig at myself. They offered me when they were terrible, so what's that say about me? Yeah, it's still a Division I school, but it was also IU. Nobody wanted to go to IU to play football. They all wanted to play basketball there. So the fact that that happened was crazy. I'm still blessed to have gotten it. I've talked with Tom Allen, met the offensive coordinator at the time. It was such a surreal experience. So to sit here and see them at the number 1 overall seed is absolutely crazy to me. And the fact that after last year, after how they played against Ohio State and Notre Dame, I knew they would get back because they had a favorable schedule. If they lost to Oregon and Penn State, I think they still would have been in. But they went to Eugene and they handled Oregon. And I think if we get the rematch here in the semifinals, yeah, I think Oregon still wins and they move on. 1,000%. And then we got the champion. So IU being the number 1 team in the nation for football absolutely shocks me. Last night, I woke up this morning like, was that a fever dream? Like watching IU take on the Ohio State University. And they handled business. They did it with defense, and they scored when they had to. One thing Michigan did not do was Michigan could not attack downfield. And the biggest difference between IU and Michigan is Mendoza can roll out the pocket and threaten you with the run and then hit you over top with a 5-yard pass for a first down. Charlie Becker was a dog last night, and he did everything he could. And Mendoza, I think, solidified himself as the Heisman winner. Ohio State. I'm glad Ohio State is not sitting at number 4 because I do not want to see them play Oregon again because I think it would be a bloodbath again. With that being said, I'm glad the committee chose to do what they did and made Ohio State the number 2 team in the nation because they are the number 2 team in the nation. Last night, we witnessed the true national championship, and everyone in the past was like, oh, the SEC's that's the national championship. Sorry, not anymore. SEC does not run college football. We witnessed last night at 8 o'clock the national championship game between Indiana and Ohio State, and I believe we're going to see it again. Also, Miami, Texas A&M, you're not beating Ohio State. I don't know what bowl game this is because I believe IU's got the Rose Bowl. I'm sure we'll figure out the bowl games. If not, maybe I missed it. We'll see. Or I guess if I keep reading, I'm sure I'll figure it all out. But we're looking at the bracket. So, again, these two teams are not beating Ohio State unless they absolutely shock the world. But I kind of doubt it. Georgia being the number 3 team, yes, they look very good. Yeah, they stunk it up versus Alabama earlier in the year, but they showed why they're the SEC champs, right? They did what they had to do. They got the job done. They did it. You can't say much about Georgia. They're one of the they're the top 4 team in the nation. But if you had to put them up against Ohio State, I think Ohio State gets it done. I think Ole Miss doesn't have a coach. This is going to be a bloodbath. Tulane. There's too much talent on this Ole Miss roster to think Tulane's got a shot. And that's just me being real about it. There's no way Tulane's got a shot. I'm sorry. It is what it is. They simply do not have a shot in hell to win this game at all. So I think regardless, the winner here, bloodbath, you got to play Georgia. It's probably a loss. Texas Tech. I'm glad they won the Big 12. I'm kind of upset that we're not seeing them get a home game in Lubbock because that would be fun to watch. Now, I think they're very similar to Arizona State a year ago. They're good, but you're not going to beat Oregon. I don't think you'll beat Oregon at all. I think Oregon, because did they play each other in the Pac-12, or has Texas Tech always been in the Big 12? I can't remember. But for whatever reason, I'm trying to remember. I think Oregon's got Texas Tech's number, and so Texas Tech is not moving on unless that defense really shows up, because IU showed you how to beat Oregon, and that's beat the shit out of them up front. And IU did that. They won by 10, and I think that's the blueprint to beat Oregon. Also, anybody at the 10-7 spot, IU showed you the blueprint to beat Ohio State. Hit them early. Roll the safeties. Do whatever you got to do. Trust your DBs on Tate and Smith. Do what you got to do. Yeah, you're going to have splash plays here or there, but let me tell you, IU showed you how to beat Ohio State. Granted, Ohio State is not a very flawed team. Neither is Indiana. It's going to be hard to beat those two. But if there's anybody who showed you how to beat Oregon in Oregon by 10 points, IU showed you that. Texas Tech, watch that film and try to mimic what IU did. But my gut's telling me Oregon's going to move on and will play IU in the rematch. So you got the 5, you got the 6, you got the 7. So you got Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M. Oregon's moving on. Not much I'm going to say about that game. Ole Miss, they just lost Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's going to LSU. I mean, say what you want about Lane Kiffin, but I think he's got a better shot to win. Granted, I do wish he was kind of allowed to continue his run, because I would love to have seen Lane Kiffin do his thing. But they are losing coaches. I believe the entire offensive staff is gone, and they're with him in LSU already. But Ole Miss has beaten Tulane by maybe 5 touchdowns, right? Texas A&M. Miami on the road. I agree, head-to-head should matter. I would have trusted Notre Dame more here than A&M. I would have. Or more than Miami, my bad. But I do believe Texas gets it done. So you got the 8, the 9, and the 10 seed. You got Oklahoma, Alabama, Miami. This game's interesting, but Alabama's on the road. I think Oklahoma wins this game at home, And then they're going to ride the high into IU, and I think IU is going to, again, bring them down very quickly. So I think Oklahoma wins by, I'll say 2 touchdowns at home. I'll say they're a 2-touchdown favorite at home. They'll move on to play Indiana. Ole Miss, they're going to beat Tulane. It is what it is. Miami, good run. You beat Notre Dame head-to-head. You got your wish. You got in the playoffs. Yes, I'm a salty Notre Dame fan, but you're not going to beat Texas A&M on the road. You're not going to. College Station in December? No, not happening. I'm sorry. Damn, I'm a salty Notre Dame fan today. Like I said, I'm rooting on the Hoosiers the entire way through. But salty Notre Dame fan, head-to-head should absolutely matter. Miami is not winning. Now, to what I want to talk about the absolute most, because it kind of angers me. Tulane, JMU. If you're going to give the group of 5 an automatic bid, the group of 5 teams need to schedule Power 4 teams. I don't think, besides Tulane, who played Ole Miss and they got beat by 5 touchdowns earlier this year. I believe that was this year. I don't watch much Ole Miss games, let alone the SEC in general. JMU did not play a single Power 4 opponent this year. And you're telling me the committee thinks they're going to win the national title? Bullshit. I'm looking at you, committee. Bullshit. JMU's not going to Eugene and winning. I'm sorry. Not happening. Not happening. Tulane is going to get boat raced, just like JMU is going to get boat raced. I'm sorry. I would, again, and I'm a salty Notre Dame fan today, Notre Dame beats Ole Miss on the road. Notre Dame beats Ole Miss on the road. Notre Dame would also dogfight Oregon. It would be a dogfight. And I think Notre Dame squeezes that one out if they had to go to Eugene. Notre Dame defensively and offensively got better. They have a Heisman finalist, and you're telling me we're not going to get to see that in the postseason? Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. The group of 5 bid needs to go. Or if it doesn't go, make them prove it and make them schedule a Power 5 team. Make them schedule a Power 4 team. I know I said Power 5. Make them schedule that, all right? Make them schedule those teams. They have to. Boise State made it because they had, I believe just a 7-point loss to Oregon last year on the road. That makes sense. Boise State had a close loss, and they handled business the rest of the year. JMU didn't play a Power 4 team. Tulane played Ole Miss earlier this year, I believe. 5 scores, they lost. This is absolutely insane to see. Nobody in a million years will ever convince me James Madison and Tulane are better than Notre Dame or BYU. BYU lost, they shouldn't be in. I agree with that. JMU should not be in. That should be Notre Dame, and you have Notre Dame and Miami in together. That is how it should be. That's my feelings on it. That's how I feel about it. And I'm going to stick to my guns with it because that's exactly how I feel. It's absolutely insane. The top 4, no complaints whatsoever. The top 5, no complaints whatsoever. The 11th and 12th seeds is where my complaints will always come in now. I am sorry. Absolutely sorry. I don't give a shit. I don't care. And everyone's argument will be, well, Notre Dame should get in the conference. No, because technically the 5th seed is always built for Notre Dame. That is your independent slot right there. If Notre Dame handles business and they go undefeated or a one-loss team, they're right there through and through. So no, I do not think Notre Dame deserves to be in a conference. They don't need to be in a conference because they did it last year. They showed everybody why they belonged in there even without a conference. Notre Dame has a pretty good schedule, and they schedule pretty well every single year. I'm telling you, Notre Dame will handle business next year, and they'll be back in it. I really like the team they had. I hope Jeremiah Love comes back for another year. But we'll see. Actually, you got to stay till your junior year, right? So I think he's got to stay anyway. It is what it is. That's my biggest complaint with the CFP right now is number 11 in the 12 seed. It's absolutely insane to me that that's what we're getting. But it is what it is. Now, I kind of got in my predictions earlier. But as we're wrapping up this video, I'm going to go ahead and give my predictions for this college football playoff that starts December 19th through the 20th. Easy round one. Oregon moves on. Oklahoma moves on. Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Easy as that. This could be a close matchup. I think Texas A&M wins. Not a close matchup. Three to 5 scores. Oklahoma wins by 2 scores. Oregon by 5 scores. Sorry. So now to our second round matchups. Texas Tech, Oregon. I think Oregon wins in a shootout. I do think it's a shootout, but I do not believe Oregon's defense or Texas Tech's defense will be good enough to stop each other. I think Oregon gets 1 stop and they win by a touchdown. 7-point game, they win by a touchdown. All right, let's jump down here. Georgia, Ole Miss. Georgia through and through, unless Ole Miss is playing passionate football and wins. I do not see an upset here. I think Georgia moves on. Texas A&M against Ohio State. Ohio State's moving on, I'm sorry. Ohio State is moving on fairly easy. I think they win this game by maybe 2 scores, maybe. Then we got Oklahoma, Indiana. What much do I got to say? Indiana is not a very flawed team. I think Oklahoma could give them some fits, but defensively, I think IU handles Mateer pretty easily. IU moves on. So then we got IU, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia. I think just like we've seen in Eugene, now it's on a neutral field. I think IU is going to be playing passionate, and they're going to show why they're the number 1 team in the nation. They're going to beat Oregon. I believe they beat them by 10 again, going to the college football national championship game. IU by 10 against Oregon. Ohio State, Georgia. I think this is going to be a very similar game like it was on New Year's Eve just a few years ago. The only difference is I don't think it comes down to a field goal for Ohio State. I think it comes down to a field goal for Georgia. But instead of missing it, Ohio State gets the block. And then that brings us to the national championship game. It gives us the rematch of the Big Ten title game that we just had last night. Again, I'm going to rock with IU through and through. They're going to hold a special place in my heart. I think it's going to be another dogfight, bare knuckle, like throwing haymakers, their best shots at each other. And maybe Ohio State held back, but maybe so did IU on offense. IU showed that they could throw the deep ball on Ohio State's defense. You just got to complete some of those. I think in the rematch of the Big Ten title game, we have a little bit higher scoring affair, but I believe, and I believe this in my heart of hearts, IU connects on a few more deep ball plays than they did last night, like the one to Cooper early in the game, and then similar to the Charlie Becker catch that led to the Surratt touchdown. I think they complete a couple more deep bombs to their receivers, and I believe it's going to be a little bit higher scoring game, not by much. 17-10, IU gets the job done in the national champion and complete the first ever 12-team undefeated national champion. And again, in my lifetime, the fact that I'm saying something like this is absolutely crazy because I never in a million years would have thought to ever see IU be the number 1 team in the nation. I do think we're going to get an all Big Ten title national championship game, but I believe 17-10 is your final score in the Big Ten championship game down in Miami. I think IU gets the job done. That's all my complaints. That's my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think down below. Like, subscribe, check out all my videos. I do college football 26 gameplay, Madden 26. You're going to see NBA 2K here soon. I've got first-person point of view GoPro footage. Go ahead, like all of it, subscribe, check out all my videos. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!